Hey, friends, welcome to Unmasking with Cindy and Sarah. We're so excited to have you here today. We are wrapping up our series on being creative and play for adults. So, we're just going to have a very fun conversation today and then talk a little bit about where we're headed for the month of February. Yeah, we have a few questions too that were sent in to us, so we're going to answer those. But really, we're just going to have a fun conversation about what Cindy and I have been doing to incorporate play and creativity into our own lives. As you can see, I'm wearing my sweatshirt,
Yes.
overstimulated.
I need one of those for
I'm
myself.
going to get it for you. I'm going to get it for you. Because
love that.
this is like every day, guys, every day overstimulated.
Overstimulated, which
mhm.
actually is a good segue into revisiting our month on play and creativity, because we were talking about what to do when you get overstimulated or over analytical. You move into a space to create. So I love that you're wearing that sweatshirt today.
I know a friend sent it to me. I'm not sure who. I'm pretty sure it's my friend Nicole, but I'm going to check. But she knows me so well. I'm always calling her in a crisis. So she probably was like, you need that sweatshirt.
I love that. That's so great. And we made it to February, folks.
It's been a year.
My
January was a year, guys.
January was a year. Go back to our earlier conversation, Sarah, about not starting out with any expectations. And I think that's really served us well, because there was a lot of things that transpired in the month of January.
Sucked.
It did suck.
It really did. But you know what? I went into it with no, I have no goals, nothing. I'm just living my life.
Yeah. How was that for you to not have a bunch of specific expectations? How did you notice January was for you?
I think it just took pressure off of having to have everything in place and find control in things, which is, I think we all want some amount of control. But at the end of the day, life is life and you just have to kind of go with it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just feel like all those little things are, even for someone who's very anxious and overstimulated, gotta eat the black-eyed peas. I mean, I don't know who had time, who created these things. You know what I'm saying? Who decided in the South eating black-eyed peas is going to save your year? It's going to make it special. Who decided this?
I need to do some research on this and figure out the person responsible for this.
And why black-eyed peas? No one likes them.
No.
I mean, we have to put bacon in there. You have to have chicken broth and everything to make it take. But I'm just saying, who decided? No. That's how your year's going to start really good, is if you eat these. I think it was probably the black-eyed pea people. They probably were like, listen, we need to sell these things. Nobody's eating them. I don't know, but I was like, don't you wonder sometimes about that?
Yes.
How do these things start of you have to do this, you have to do it,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like pressure.
Just another expectation, It's another expectation. These fake days that have been created, Now I love a mental health day. I love recognizing, certain months
but
for certain
teddy
things.
Bear day. You know what I mean? I don't know.
National Golden Retriever Day.
Golden Retriever. Well,
there's a golden. I mean,
they are cute.
Yeah, sure. But why do I need a day? And then there's the pressure of, I have one, so do I post them? No.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the pressure of crap, I didn't post that I love my child on National Daughter Day. It's damn, let me post so everybody knows I'm not a crappy mom,
I indeed do love my child.
National Sibling Day, love him. Husband Day, just so everybody knows I love him. Best Friend Day, all these days. Yeah, there is National Color Day, I don't know. I mean, I think we're it's just a lot,
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's overstimulating. Back to how we started this. It's overstimulating. I don't know. I'm just happy that we made it. I'm happy we made it through January. I'm happy that I went into it with not a lot of expectations either. That was a smart move there, Sarah.
Yeah.
Smart move.
I think we just need to this next coming month, February, it's a short one.
Yeah. Praise be.
Right. Yes, we are. I mean, let's hope it's, filled with lots of love and
Yes.
celebration since it is, Valentine's month, I guess. I don't know.
Sure.
There's so
Sure.
many holidays.
There
I have
are
to make
so
a
many holidays.
Valentine bucket now because I do that. You start all these things when your kids are little, and then you're like, oh man, it's fun. Yes, it's fun. I'm not saying I don't love it, but I'm just saying it's like, then you have all the school stuff on top of that. You make them a special
Correct.
heart basket. Then you have
Yeah.
to, you got
Yeah.
parades at school. You've got all that. I don't know. It's just, there's always stuff.
I'm going to say something that's a bit controversial, and don't come after me, people. But when my kids were little, I participated in all that stuff, right? Like I would do the heart-shaped pancakes and all the fun things. And, I was an elementary school teacher once upon a time. So I had a lot of really creative things going on in my house. And then something happened when the boys hit puberty, crossed the threshold. I don't know what you want to call it. And I just stopped one day and nobody ever said anything about it. And I didn't really bring it up, but I was noticing on one of these college Facebook groups that I need to just go ahead and just leave, respectfully leave. But there was a parent that was posting about ordering a love bucket to be sent to their kids' college dorm room. And I was like, what the heck is a love bucket? And so I start Googling it because I don't know any of this. And sure enough, now here's another thing that like we have to think about with sending our kids this Valentine's Day bucket full of these Valentine's Day treats. And I'm like, I've got a 19-year-old boy who's going on 35. And if I were to send him a love bucket at school, first of all, he doesn't ever check his mailbox. So it would never get there. Second of all, I just know I'm just not going to do it. So I
think
call
that's
him.
okay. Yeah. Call him. Happy Valentine's Day.
Sure.
Happy V-Day. Enjoy.
Happy V-Day. Yeah.
Remember
Right.
in high school when they would do that thing where you could buy flowers or lollipops and send them to people?
Yes.
They still do that.
They do.
Sorry, but yeah, it's cute. It makes money for the school. But there's so much pressure, I feel like, in middle and high school to have a Valentine and
so much.
All that. And I'm like, we're still doing this.
Yeah.
We're still doing it. Like, were some kids going to feel bad because somebody's got like 17 lollipops or flowers?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, why are we doing that? Like,
I don't know.
Let's just simplify. I'm glad that we are focusing on self-love as part of February. We have two very diverse guests on the podcast, and I won't say too much about them, but one is just going to be focused on loving yourself and, rediscovering that part of yourself, maybe that wasn't celebrated, or maybe you don't feel really comfortable embracing that part of yourself. And so we are going to focus on that. And then we're also going to focus on intimacy and just connection, and whether that be with a partner, a spouse, yourself, a friend, right? So we're going to see where those conversations take us, and I'm really looking forward to it. So it might not be a podcast episode, that particular one, that you would want to listen to if you have littles around you, because we are going to be maybe talking a little bit about sex, and we're just going to go there, folks. So
we're going there. We're doing all the things our grandparents told us not to talk about.
That's right.
Don't talk about sex, religion, politics, all of those things.
Right.
We're starting. Right. Yeah.
We're stepping into the dark
side. We're going in. It's going to happen.
Back to play and creativity, just to wrap. I'm curious, Sarah, what was play and creativity like for you in January?
In January? Well, I actually played a lot, but I played more. I try to play. I mean, it's my job.
Yeah.
So I do that for, I get paid to play with kids. But for I really tried to be more, present as a mom at home, give more time to playing with my daughter. And we went one day after school to the trampoline park and no one was there. So it was me, my husband, my daughter. And it was so fun. We just raced, and no one was there.
I love it.
And it was, I was peeing in my pants half the time because I've had a child, and you're jumping and I'm like, oh my gosh, but it was really,
dicey.
it's just, It's just facts.
Yep.
But we did that. We went to see some movies, which was nice to be in the movie theater and kind of see those kid movies are always fun because, and I was talking to some mom friends the other day about this. There's so much pressure on kids now. And I remember when we were in kindergarten, I mean, it was half a day and you had the home center and then you had the little science center, you just colored a letter and then you played and you had recess. There was a lot of movement outdoors and all those things. And I feel like now, even for kindergarten, it's full day. They need to know how to read. There's just so much more pressure. And play and movement and all of that is, I think we're just losing that. I mean, because it's such a freeing experience. My daughter and I love to paint. She's very creative. So, we always have paints and we were painting different Valentine hearts, things like that. And then I have a coloring book. Oh, and I have a Lisa Frank coloring book because I love Lisa Frank but I watched the documentary and I know I'm getting off topic.
No.
But I watched the Lisa Frank, everyone go watch it, Glitter and Greed, Amazon. Man, I had no clue about the Lisa Frank stuff that was going down for all these years.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
But I was coloring as I watched it in my Lisa Frank coloring book. But then I was like, I don't know if I want to support Lisa Frank anymore. I shouldn't say that. But after the documentary, I was like, this is crazy how some of these people have been treated.
Sure.
But yeah, watching my documentaries and, just trying to be more creative in that sense of coloring and getting my very grounding things where I'm being very tactile and mindful of what I'm doing. But what about you, Cindy?
Oh gosh, I was on a mission this month to really just find myself organically stepping into play because I tend to plan things out and do things very structured, which defeats the purpose, I guess, of just playing. And so I took an impromptu last minute trip to Lake Tahoe. There was a story behind that. I actually forgot to cancel a hotel reservation. And so I couldn't get my money back. I was tagging along on a business trip with my husband. And so I played. I did not join him skiing because I really don't enjoy skiing, but I was out in nature and just really absorbing just the beautiful atmosphere, the snow. I'm not one for, like I said, to be out and freezing to death, but I love the whole vibe, just that wintry wonderland place. And so I tried to get out in that as much as I could. I am taking a challenge to shop my closet this year before I just go out and buy stuff for occasion. I have a really bad habit of buying things for a specific occasion and then I never wear it again. And so then I end up with a whole bunch of crap that I don't need. And so I did a big clean out, and play for me has been going back to the stuff that I have and trying to put things together and, kind of be creative with my clothing so that I'm not over purchasing stuff, and also just really dusting some things off and going oh yeah, I can use that, moving things around. I've done a lot of redecorating. It seems like whenever Eric goes out of town, I do that. I move things around, shift things around, and repurpose things. I also saw a TikTok that inspired me to give floral arrangements a try.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was this lady who, she said, I wanted to do something creative. And so once a month, I go to Trader Joe's because they have an excellent flower selection and it's not super expensive. And she watched a couple of tutorials and she learned how to really make a beautiful arrangement for her house. And it lasts her about a month. It's not super expensive. Nice. And so I tried it and I'm going to just continue to do that. I think once a month for myself because I love flowers.
I know,
but I don't really buy them for myself often. But just kind of seeing just the different arrangements that you can make and things like that. So it's very hands-on. It gets me out of my thinking brain. And it's just something lovely to look at. So those are the three main things that I'm trying out this year is more nature, shopping my closet, and then also just floral arrangements.
Well, I love it because, you can't look at flowers and be sad. You know, I mean, yes, people can be like, oh, don't waste your money on flowers, but they make you happy.
I know.
I love a sunflower. That's my favorite flower. They're
Oh, I
so,
love
yeah.
sunflowers too.
But Cindy, you have the best style. So I have never seen you not look cute. Like you always put things together and you have really cool, unique pieces. You're very boho, like chic, cool.
That is my vibe. I really hope in my future as I age, like I want to be like if I could be like a Stevie Nicks in my 60s.
I could see it. I could see that happening for you. I could see
Just
that.
very comfortable and flowy. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
Comfortable and flowy. I don't know if it's a late 40s thing where if I'm uncomfortable in a piece of clothing, I can't do it. And again, I get overstimulated. Maybe it's a sensory thing for me. It's really hard for me to sit there in something really
like jeans. Like how do you relax on the couch in jeans?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Gosh, yes, jeans to relax.
Oh, I mean, I think people just like in their home just will probably sit in their clothes. But I come home and immediately it's like, how can I look homeless?
Same.
Let me find sweatpants.
Right.
Let me find a sweatshirt. I don't even care if they match, but how can I look as disheveled as possible for me to, be comfortable?
I know. I know. I think, I think because we are just on all day with our work and most people who work outside of the home, I think can relate to this, right? Like you have, you're put together, you go into the office and you're doing your thing. And then it's just like at the end of the day, I'm taking things off as I'm driving home.
I mean, I know if you have to steam or iron it, it's coming off when I get home. Correct. Immediately. If it's something that has, otherwise I'm putting a t-shirt, I'm putting a sweatshirt, I'm putting, my college sweatpants on.
Yes. Yes.
And that the elastic is broken, but they're your comforting pants, I don't know.
I have even gotten to the point where on some days I will wear leggings into the office. And, it's funny because my first job as a teacher, my principal wanted us to wear pantyhose. Okay.
Wow.
Right. I don't really have much else to say about that. I'll just leave that right there. And so I always thought to myself, you know what? When I work for myself one day, I will wear leggings to the office because I do sometimes think like when we're comfortable, our clients are more comfortable. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I work with kids. So I wear jeans and stuff to work because that's nice.
Yes.
But yeah, I can't imagine heels and pantyhose. Shout out to those working women who have to put on all that.
Oh, you know. Do you own pantyhose?
I do, but only if I don't even know.
Going to a funeral?
I don't even know. I mean, I have them. I feel like it's just, if you're from the 1900s, you have a pair in your house somewhere. I don't know.
I'm sure I do. I'm sure I have some legs.
Legs are those the ones that came in the egg container? Yes. Remember? Yes. Oh my gosh.
And you'd put nail polish on it if you'd get like a runner. Yeah,
the clear nail
polish on there to keep it from running.
I know. And
oh my gosh.
Yes. Oh my gosh, pantyhose.
We're dating ourselves for sure.
Oh, I don't care. I don't.
But, yeah. I really played in ways that were very different. It didn't require a lot this month. Normally I would be signing myself up for all the workshops, and I am going to try the pottery. I loved our episode with Jen Miller. She inspired me just to even try it. I mean, it's probably not going to be my thing. I don't know, but just to try it. It
looks so cool. It looks really fun.
It's so beautiful. I mean, just her stuff is so beautiful, and it's just amazing what she's been able to learn over the last couple of years. She's pretty incredible. But I did get a question from a listener on ways to play as an adult that don't require a lot of money and don't require bringing a lot of booze into it, because I think a lot of times we think that we have to sign up for the expensive class, or if we do something, it has to involve a lot of alcohol to connect. And I wanted to address that and just get your thoughts about that, Sarah. Because I thought it was a great point. I mean, people are knowing and recognizing the need to be creative, but they don't want to break the bank, and they don't want to have it be a booze fest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big drinker. For me, because it just doesn't feel like myself. It's not very organic for me. I feel like I'm masking when and then the next day I've never felt good. So unless it's like a celebration for a glass of champagne,
Yeah.
I don't really care about it. No judgment to anybody, but I think mom wine culture is so big. Alcohol is in everybody's face all the time.
Yeah.
But I think right now you're seeing a lot more with the mocktails and more people are wanting to live healthier lives. So for me, I just feel that if you are looking at being creative as just getting together and drinking, maybe you need to look into maybe question why that makes you feel comfortable or what it is about that. But as far as being creative and not like breaking the bank, I think it's like what you're saying, being creative in your own closet, getting some paper, even if it's like printer paper, and just like drawing what comes to mind without putting any pressure on it. Going outside, just walking around and finding things in nature that are beautiful. Spending time with someone that you love and playing a board game.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fun. We've been playing lots of board games with my daughter, especially at dinner time.
Yeah.
And so that's been really a fun little thing. But yeah, I think when it comes to like a lot of women get together and it's drinking and like, we're going to drink and paint a picture. We're going to drink and do this. And I think it's a lot. Women, we carry a lot. And so we want to, have something to relax or decompress.
Yeah. Decompress.
And so I think if going and painting with your friends is what makes you happy, and having a glass of wine, sure. But I don't think that you have to do that. I don't think alcohol has to be involved, particularly if you feel uncomfortable the next day. But it's hard because a lot of people are funny if you don't drink.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I probably just rambled on about it. Sorry, guys.
No, you didn't. You didn't at all. And I was thinking about that too. I've got something coming up I was sharing with you before we started recording, and it's my son's mom's weekend with his fraternity in the spring. And I was looking at the itinerary, and it's so funny how it's all, it all revolves around drinking. And one of them is a craft day where we go and we do some sort of craft with our son, but it's like BYOB, and then it's at a winery and all of that. And I've mentioned this before on the podcast. I don't drink. I have been alcohol free for almost 3 years now. And again, no shame if that's your thing and you love a good glass of wine whenever you are connecting with friends. Amazing. For me personally, it doesn't add anything to my life. Or as my British friend says, like, it's very low vibe. It's a very low vibe thing. And so I think if we're trying to be creative, it's kind of hard for me personally, to incorporate that into really truly being creative and calming your nervous system, because it's defeating the whole purpose. If you're trying to create. And so, yeah, I loved that question and wanted to take some time to address it, because I think there's all kinds of meaningful things that you can do. I even read about a group of girlfriends who they all did different crafts, I guess, or they all had their own creative outlets. And so they would decide on once a month, and they would meet at someone's house, and they would all just bring what they're working on. And,
that's cool.
I just thought that was cool. So for one person, it could be photography. For one person, it could be painting. For another person, maybe they're crocheting something. I don't know. I mean, I liked that idea of just bring what you're doing, and let's just sit, have a conversation, bring some food, and we're creating and we're connecting, and it's not breaking the bank. So
yeah. And a lot of people are baking bread now. I haven't gotten on that, but the sourdough train is rolled in and people are big on that.
Yes. I have a girlfriend that does that.
I mean, it looks fun. I need to get on that. I need to make some bread. I need to bake some bread. No, I mean,
baking. Come on.
I actually love to bake. That's
Do you?
actually another thing that I do quite often. I
Yeah.
don't really care to cook, but I like baking because I love
Same.
sweets.
Yeah.
Love
Oh
them.
gosh, me too.
Like cakes, all of it. You know what? I want to
I
do a
know.
I'm going to put this on my list. I want to do a cake decorating class,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Yes.
Cuz I
Yes.
watch all those Instagrams where they freeze it and then I'm like, "Oh, I want to try that, but I need someone to like kind of show me that."
Yes. Yes. I think Sur La Table has those too. And they also have them with where I did this with my boys when a couple of years ago. They have different themes and you can make like, if you're into baking, you can go and you can bake a special dish or
Mhm.
whatever. They'll do a theme and take all the
That's
complications
fun.
out of it. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So I
really
love
fun.
that. I love stuff like that, just things that are not super expensive or super involved, but just really the purpose of it again is to connect and get you out of your overstimulated body
Mhm.
and into a calmer, more grounded place. And I think our guests this month, really Carly and Jen, were very helpful in reminding me of that
Yeah.
it's about the process. It's not the finished product.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And it's so subjective to what makes you happy and feeling that. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I love the Great British Baking Show because
yeah,
they are just so supportive and nice to each other on that show. It's not like everything is perfect, but they help
sure.
each other. It's like exposure therapy. If you're scared, it doesn't cost any money. You can watch that show and then maybe
Hmm.
try to bake something
Yeah.
at home and just play around with it, and but first watch and then, try it
Hmm.
yourself or go on the internet. I have a lot of clients and they like me to pull up how to draw a cat or how to draw like Pokemon or whatever. And
Yeah.
we look it up and then we do the step by step. And it's really cool because if you do step by step enough, you'll start learning different ways of drawing. And so that's a very inexpensive way because I mean, we all have internet or you can go to the library. I mean, there's lots of places you can go and you just practice drawing and it's step by step. So
Yeah.
it doesn't feel as overwhelming. You're just looking at like a Degas painting and you're like, I want to do that. There's paint by
Right.
numbers, all these different things. But yes, it's so subjective. And I mean, that creativity just can be from so many different outlets. It doesn't even have to be really art. It can be,
Hmm.
I know you had mentioned you had made a vision board,
I
maybe just
did.
cutting out pictures and,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many ways to be creative.
There's so many ways to be creative. And it's funny. Speaking of the vision board, I have it hanging in my closet right now. And when we did that, I was with my two childhood friends, and we all have very different personalities. We're all just very different people. And you could see the end result and it really matched our personalities very well. So like one was like extremely organized and she chose all words, and then mine was just this big glitter mess of like, I'm trying to find this theme for this year, right? It looked very haphazard, but it was so therapeutic for me to use glitter. I know that sounds silly, but
No, glitter's fun.
it was really fun. And I was really nervous to even use the glitter. And then my other friend was like, Cindy, come on, like glitter's cheap. Just use the dang glitter. It's okay if you waste it. And I was like, okay. But as I did it, I started to kind of relax into the process, and then I really loved like my finished product. So,
Mm-hmm.
so that's even fun,
I
just,
know.
yeah.
Gardening, being
Yeah.
out gardening a little bit. We actually had a neighbor ask us if they could take some of our clippings earlier in the year. I mean, you can ask your neighbors if you see something beautiful, like one of their plants, can you just cut a few clippings off and then put that in your own garden? And I mean, most people are kind. I mean, I
Yeah.
would hope they would give you a clipping. If not, then that's very telling about them. So,
It's probably not a
but
neighbor you're going to be hanging out with.
probably not. But there's just so many different ways. But I feel like connecting with nature,
Mhm.
um, utilizing art, which can feel uncomfortable for people. I know we said it doesn't have to be art, but even just like movement, like
Yeah.
doing a yoga class.
Mhm.
And YouTube has so many great things where you don't have to actually have a membership somewhere. So that is a
Right.
great resource if you don't want to spend a lot of money, is just pull somebody's YouTube video up. They'll be glad, trust me. Everybody wants a
Yeah.
subscriber on there.
Sure. Those are all great
Mhm.
ideas. I don't know. What were your big takeaways from our guests? Just thinking back
Oh,
for
I loved our
January.
guests. They were so great. I really loved how they both were so vulnerable in sharing how they found their creativity through mental health and their own struggles. And so my takeaway from it is just how important it is to get out of that limbic region in your brain
Mm-hmm.
and utilize creativity to alleviate a lot of symptoms and to also advocate for yourself. But I've never met a person who was in a creative moment, like really in a creative moment, that was in a mental health crisis in that moment. It was
Mm-hmm.
calming to them. It's your mind is just so focused on what it is that you're doing that I think it gets you out of that headspace. And so my takeaways was just how they were so different. You know, one was utilizing mental health, Carly, to have sayings like different, she was putting like different sayings on things
Yeah, like a
that were
graphic design.
empowering. And then the other one was utilizing her hands, very tactile with creating pieces that felt very personal to her.
Mm-hmm.
And that brought her joy in the sense that she can look at it. And both of them have pieces that they can look at. And there's something about, when your child makes something and gives it to you and they see that you put it on, the shelf, they're so proud of it.
Yeah.
And do that for your own stuff. You should feel proud of it. You should look at it
Yes.
and know that came from a place of self-love and self-care.
I love that.
What
Yeah,
about you?
same, getting out of the limbic region. That just really stuck with me,
Yeah.
I have really tried to reinforce that with my clients. It was a good reminder for me that when I'm working with a client who has a lot of anxiety and who tends to ruminate, to talk to them about how why can be a really dead end word if I'm ruminating and I'm asking myself, why am I thinking this? Why can't I stop thinking about this? Why am I like this? As you
Yeah.
and I always text to each
Why
other.
am I the way that
The
I
way that I
am?
am? And how why is a dead end question, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never really been able to answer that effectively when I am in a ruminating moment, but rather instead of why, shifting it to how. Like, how do I move forward? How do I
Mm-hmm.
move forward? And usually the answer is through movement, creativity, play. And so those were just my big takeaways because these were our two guests that had specific products,
Mm-hmm.
outcomes of something based on an emotion that they were feeling. So it was just really cool. I'm glad that we showcased that.
Me too. I loved it.
Yeah.
It was
And
a
I'm
great
really,
start to the year,
yes,
of
yes.
like really focusing on and being intentional about playing and having fun and being creative, all of those things, because I think you get lost in your head a lot,
Yes.
we as people. And so being able to come back to what makes us feel good and knowing what that is, finding that can be also a coping skill.
Yes, absolutely. So I think it's going to be great. February, I'm hopeful.
I am
I'm
too.
really optimistic about it. And I think talking about intimacy and
Let's do this.
self-love, let's do this, you guys. So we hope that you will join us back next week as we have a very special guest that Sarah and I
We love her.
we love her. We've known her for a long time, and that's all I'm going to say.
All of our SMU people, stay tuned. You're going to be
That's right.
excited. I love
That's
her. I love
right.
her.
All
I
of our
know.
cohorts, peeps, just get ready.
It's going to be a good one. It's going
So,
to be good. And I'm excited.
oh,
I think it'll be
I am
really
too.
fun. And it's
Yeah,
stuff that we need to talk about as women, you know?
absolutely. We absolutely do. Yes.
We're going to
So,
talk about it all,
yeah. So
every
just
bit.
get ready and we will see you back next week as we introduce intimacy, you guys.
So everyone, remember, keep playing, keep being creative.
Yes, keep being creative, keep playing, and thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, friends.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. If this podcast resonated with you, it would mean so much to us if you'd be willing to take a few minutes of your time and do a couple of things. First, can you please follow or subscribe to the Unmasking podcast? This is helpful for you because you'll never miss an episode. So to do this, go to the Unmasking podcast show page on Apple Podcasts or Spotify and tap the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner or click follow. While you're there, if you'd be willing to give us a 5-star rating and share an episode that you loved with a friend, we would be so grateful. The Unmasking podcast is created and hosted by Cindy Payne and Sarah Vaught. And you can also find more information by logging on to our website, theunmaskingpodcast.com. There you will see opportunities to subscribe as well as apply to be a guest on our show. As always, we're so grateful for you, and we hope you join us next week for a new episode. Thank you.